In cities the world over, the scene is a familiar one. Too much traffic on too many crowded roads. Sydney, Australia's largest city, faced that very problem daily until it came up with an imaginative plan to cut the worsening congestion. It decided to build a monorail designed by Monorail transport systems. Such a sleek space-age system would go up and over busy inner city streets, moving swiftly and silently past bottlenecks and red lights, getting people quickly to their destination. The proposition was greeted with enthusiasm by the worldwide transport group TNT, which saw the potential benefits the monorail would bring to Sydney. Using Monorail technology, TNT would build and operate the system. The plan? To link the city with Darling Harbour, an ambitious $2 billion development on Sydney's foreshores, the biggest urban project in Australia's history. A once derelict tract of land, it has since been magically transformed into a place for people. Difficult to reach from the heart of Sydney's central business district, and with no convenient means of transport to connect it to the city, it was realised Darling Harbour's success would depend on the monorail. When looked at against other conventional road-based transport systems, the monorail was by far the best and least expensive option. Buses would be too slow. They'd only add to congestion anyway and cause even more pollution. Trams needed a ground-level track and street space. And underground trains were too costly, about 6 times as much as a monorail, and take years to build. With the backing of the state government, work began quickly. The route, from Darling Harbour, the monorail would travel via the entertainment centre into Pitt Street, the very heart of Sydney, and back to Darling Harbour. There'd be 8 stations along the 3.6 kilometre route. Travel time, only 12 minutes. A skilled team of engineers and planners using the latest computer-aided design techniques began work on the system. Out in the field, core samples of the earth were taken to determine the exact depth and detail of the foundation. Checks were made to ascertain the location of underground cables and services, and foundations were built for the positioning of 120 columns to support the system. While all this was taking place, in a factory outside Sydney, welding and fabrication work was underway on the track and columns. In this high-tech workshop, the 30-metre-long track sections and 5.5-metre columns were manufactured directly from the computerized engineer's drawings and were automatically assembled and welded in an around-the-clock operation. They were transported to the site for erection. Beams and columns were quickly put into place, and welders completed the job. Round sharp corners, across major intersections, even over freeways, all achieved with minimum disruption to traffic. As many as 3 columns and beams a day were installed as the monorail took shape. Each week, Sydney-siders could see their monorail developing. In the central business district, much of the work was done in the small hours of the morning to avoid tie-ups. Erection in Darling Harbour followed a similar pattern, but with less traffic restraints. All the same, it had to be done in association with all the other works involved in the Darling Harbour project. One especially long track section spanning the freeways, some 49 metres in length, half the size of a football field, was trucked into the city after midnight, a difficult task involving skillful manoeuvring. The plan went like clockwork. The whole assembly was completed by dawn, with no inconvenience to early morning traffic. By now, work on the stations was nearing completion. modern, futuristic designs to provide easy access to those using the monorail. Powering of the system required kilometres of wiring for the buzz bars, the power pickup points for the monorail. The sum total of power and control cabling was some 90 kilometres, a formidable task for the electricians. Considerable effort was applied to enhance the aesthetics of the columns and surrounds. Mirrored glass was installed in the city area. Trees were placed in specially designed planter boxes, built to collapse in the event of a collision, slowing the vehicle, protecting the occupants. A marble finish was applied to the column base. Again, in parallel with all the other construction activities, a maintenance facility had to be built. Located in this complex, a storage area, workshops, and control centre. Construction had now reached the Piedmont Bridge. Here, the monorail travels down the centre of the bridge, and the track had to be able to move with the swing span section of the historic bridge, or alternatively, remain in position whilst the bridge rotates. This allows clear opening of Darling Harbour to tall-masted ships. The cars at this stage were being assembled in the Von Roll factory. These lightweight yet rugged aluminium bodies are built to last. They're finished in the paint shop, wired and assembled with bogies, then packed for transport to site. Sydney's first glimpse of the monorail was when the cars were lifted onto the tracks at the maintenance depot. Here they were fitted out. This included the installation of the electronic brains of the train. These units are housed throughout the monorail with the master in the front car. The main computer is in constant contact with the central control room, where the operator monitors the system on a computer screen. As there is no driver, computers are used to coordinate everything from the speed of the electric motors to the automatic opening and closing of doors. Over 7,000 separate points on the trains and stations are automatically monitored by central control. It is a super safe system. The main computer collects all data covering speed, distance, power, and status of trains and stations around the track. Trains enter and leave service by using the traverser, which is a moving section of track. The monorail runs on rubber tyres, is clamped firmly to the track by side and up thrust rollers, which makes for a quiet, smooth, and secure ride. Full phase testing then began. This was the first time Sydney-siders saw the monorail moving through the centre of downtown Sydney. Commuters, so used to congested city streets, were quick to see the benefits of the overhead monorail system. When Queen Elizabeth came to open Darling Harbour, all Sydney joined in the colourful celebrations. It was also the day the TNT HarbourLink monorail made its official debut, carrying passengers for the first time. It seemed everyone wanted to be on that first ride, a ride described in the press as being on a magic carpet. Wrote columnist James Oram in the Sydney Sunday Telegraph. The first surprise was not only the smoothness of the acceleration, but the speed of the 6 drive units of the 7-car train. The second was the quietness, just a hum, no louder than a household fan. It was always recognised that the benefits of providing a comfortable way to travel above the busy city streets must not be achieved at the expense of having an immense, obtrusive track structure through the city. The route of the slimline track was therefore carefully designed to avoid, as far as possible, buildings of historical significance, but still going into the heart of the city to provide service to the people to travel to and from Darling Harbour. Columns are only 69 centimetres by 25 centimetres wide, with a matching width track. Up here, above the traffic, at awning level, passengers are able to see their city from a new perspective. And as the monorail crosses Piedmont Bridge, there are sweeping panoramic views of the Darling Harbour foreshores. cars are spacious, with temperature-controlled ventilation. One unique feature is at the stations, where the train is level with the platform, allowing easy access for mothers with strollers and the disabled. There is no lifting to board. This is a first for Sydney Transport. All this impressed those who rode the system.
Great. Tremendous.
How about the access?
Access is ideal at this station, and I hope all the other stations are going to be exactly the same.
Lovely. Beautiful. I want to go again.
Up to 5,000 people an hour can be carried on the Sydney Monorail, but another 3 trains can be added to increase capacity to 8,000 if needed. For Monorail Transport Systems, it is the realisation of a 20-year dream of seeing the monorail, long popular in leisure parks, develop into a serious, fully-fledged urban mass transport system. Sydney has the proud distinction of having the world's first fully automatic urban monorail. Planned, built and operating within only 2.5 years, running automatically, driverless, under computer control, Monorail and TNT now bring Sydney into the 21st century. The Monorail monorail, the perfect solution, the transport of the future.